Dolovina guia dolosana angito talita kini ana warong ng Bula FM e Golden Point Resort basendo nambando ana here binaka.
Bula binaka na dang ko tevita utu ngoi nanti ando talita wale warong ng Bula FM nambando ana set.
Na dang ko makilesi wer kraki NSB ng Bula FM nambando ana set.
Hello nga ratu kitchen ng Tabo ando talita na warong ng Bula FM nambando ana set ngo lusu.
Bula FM nambang 2 NSR.
Good evening, this is FBC News. I'm Amrita Priyadarshini. Tonight, Vodafone Fiji Sevens team qualifies for Cup quarters. State of natural disaster declaration ends next Sunday. And government confident economy will bounce back. But leading this bulletin, the Vodafone Fiji Sevens side is through to the Cup quarter-final of the Vancouver Sevens tomorrow in Canada. The national side started off well with victories over Samoa and Portugal, but was severely tested in the final pool match against Kenya, coming through with a 24-19 win. And we'll have more on the Vancouver Sevens in our sports segment. The National Disaster Management Office wants to complete as much rehabilitation as possible in the next 9 days. All agencies involved are working round the clock to bring normalcy in affected areas. The State of Natural Disaster Declaration ends next Sunday. Ritika Pratap reports.
As basic assistance reaches many of those affected by Tropical Cyclone Winston, the focus now shifts to cleanup and rebuilding.
The biggest work that needs to be done now is actually the removal of the waste and the debris that are being left by the Tropical Cyclone Winston. That will take some time, and this is something that the community will have to help, the government will have to help themselves to ensure. We need to remove this, get it out of their mind, get it out of their way.
Akapositui Fangalele says if assessment reports suggest the state of natural disaster declaration needs to be extended, they will definitely look into it.
For the rehabilitation and recovery, where government will provide its assistance. It's provided assistance through the verification of what has happened on the ground, and the data that has to come into us from the Commissioner's Office, Divisional Commissioners, together with the various sectors, that has to be accurate and factual data.
Tuifangalele says currently the teams have gone through their initial damage assessments and the details will have to be verified.
That can take into beyond this 30 days period that we have had, and it can take even a month or even 2 or even more, just to make sure that all the data that needs to come from the ground are correct.
Meanwhile, there are around 10,000 people still living in over 300 evacuation centers, and Tuifangalele says he hopes they all can go home in the next 9 days. You can watch an in-depth interview with the National Disaster Management Director, Akapusi Tuifangalele, on For the Record straight after the news. Ritika Pratap, FBC News.
The Fiji Sugar Corporation won't fix Penang Sugar Mill because extensive repairs could stretch into 2017. The FSC is instead focusing on the Lautoka and the Rarawai sugar mills. Ritika Pratap once again.
Maintenance work on the Lautoka and Rarawai sugar mills have begun, as crushing is expected to begin in about 3 months. These two suffered less damage than the Penang sugar mill, and FSC Executive Chair Abdul Khan says repairs can be finished in time.
If you look at the farmers that has been providing sugar cane to Penang mill, we will continue to take that sugar cane. All that we will do is bring it into Rarawai and have it processed. So as far as the farmers goes that have still got sugar cane to be processed, they will not be affected one iota. It's only our mill.
Khan says a full report on the Penang mill by Wednesday will give them a better idea of damage and repair costs. Only 52,000 tons of cane can be harvested from the Penang sector, as opposed to estimates of 200,000 tons.
We've done a crop survey. At this stage, we're looking at about 52,000 tons. Our expectation was maybe as high as about 200,000 tons. So on that 52,000 tons, if we do not operate Penang, for example, then that crop will still be harvested and will be processed in Railway.
The FSC is also mindful of the extra cost farmers may have to cover in order to transport cane to the Rarwai mill.
So what we're looking at, we know there will be additional cost for, especially for those people that are actually on the other side of Penang. In other words, not on the Rarwai side, but on the other side. So there will be additional cost for them to bring it into Penang and then from Penang into Rarwai. So we're looking at what are the additional costs, what is the amount of cane that will come from that area, and then work out figures to ensure that at the end of the day, farmers don't end up having to pay more than what they would normally pay for their harvesting and transport.
The FSC executive chair says their rehabilitation plan is not only to see what is better for the industry in 2016, but in years to come. Ritika Pratap, FBC News.
Our economy will get back on track. Permanent Secretary for Industry and Trade Shaheen Ali says that the government will do whatever it takes to rebuild our economy. Ali Kimbia has more.
The Ministry of Industry and Trade is confident that our economy will regain its momentum of growth despite the devastating destruction of Tropical Cyclone Winston.
Our economy has suffered, I call, a very minor setback through Cyclone Winston. However, we are very resilient, Fijians are very resilient, and we will overcome this and get back to our growth trajectory that we had experienced for the past 6 years.
The ministry is looking at coordinating a trade policy framework to grow the economy and overcome the estimated $1 billion in losses brought by the cyclone. Ali says the focus is to further improve and enhance sectors not affected by TC Winston.
The IMF, prior to the tropical cyclone, had released a very glowing report card of Fiji's bright future to come. And I'm sure Cyclone Winston will not get us off track on that.
Ali is hoping that the measure will assist all Fijians in overcoming the effects of Tropical Cyclone Winston and return to full prosperity as quickly as possible. Ali Kimbia, FBC News.
A 39-year-old man of Siberia, Lambasa, has been charged with 2 counts of act with intent to cause grievous harm. He is also charged with 2 counts of serious assaults for allegedly attacking a police officer on duty. It is alleged the man came home drunk on Friday night and attacked his wife and daughter with a cane knife. The suspect's 17-year-old daughter is seriously injured and has been transferred to the CWM hospital. Her 35-year-old mother is still recovering at the Lambasa hospital. Still to come, Narere Boy makes it big in the fashion industry.
Yandra! I love listening to Gold FM at Golden Point Resort. Gold FM, only the classic hits.
Hola, my name is General from Rugby. I love listening to Gold FM, only the classic.
I'm Moses from Valeu. I love listening to Gold FM, only the classic hits.
My name is Marita Manako. I'm from Kandavu. I like listening to Gold FM, only the classic hits.
My name is Filipa from Tavo Town. I love listening to Gold FM, only the classic hits.
Gold FM, only the classic hits.
Welcome back. You're with FBC News. Australian Foreign Minister Julie Bishop has arrived in the country with more relief items for TC Winston affected areas this afternoon. Bishop met with Foreign Affairs Minister Ratu Inoke Kumbombola and Minister for National Disaster and Management Inia Serui Ratu before she started her tour to affected areas. Coral Island is believed to be the first on her agenda.
I'm staying here overnight. I'm spending all today and all tomorrow here and flying back to Canberra. Our thoughts are with the people of Fiji. I'm here to see the disaster relief effort underway and hope to meet a lot of the people here and send our very best wishes.
To date, the Australian government has committed $15 million in humanitarian assistance to Fiji. Well, people will recover from Tropical Cyclone Winston at different times and in different ways, and some may be more resilient than others. This has been highlighted by Australian Specialised Disaster Trauma Counsellor Reverend Stefan Robinson, who's in the country conducting a disaster recovery training for ministers and deaconesses. Akasita Tale reports more than 50 church leaders will be deployed to affected areas to provide counselling.
These ministers have a tough task at hand. to provide direction and advice to Fijians who have been affected by the Category 5 cyclone. They have learnt about the stages of recovery after disasters and how to care for people during trauma.
Some people will be in extreme shock or extreme grief. Others may be starting now to be able to think more clearly and make plans for the future. Over time, they will gradually emerge from what they've been put through, but it'll still be very raw and very strong at this stage.
Reverend Robinson is encouraging those affected to share their experiences with family and friends and not keep it to themselves. He says talking about it does not make one weak.
But if they're having psychological concerns like the flashbacks and seeing things or recounting things that are very powerful to them, it'd be a very good idea to see a doctor, to actually go there, and they may need a referral from that.
The church leaders will be sent to affected islands in Koro, Vanuatu, Northern Viti Levu, Western Division and other affected areas in the next fortnight.
Counseling is where people are there with those who suffer, who have been victimized by the cyclone. Their presence, that's very important. It's apart from foods, from other physical needs. It's of spiritual healing.
5 church secretaries are already in Vanuatu, Ra Tavua, Ba Lautoka and Lomaiviti conducting pastoral visitations and church assessments. Ako si Tatalei, FBC News.
Denizen Growers Fiji Limited has handed over 10 tons of potatoes and onions to the government. The donation, worth $18,000, was made in Nandi earlier in the week. Commissioner Western Manasa Tangidakimbao, while acknowledging the assistance, said affected families will now receive 2 new produce in their relief supplies. Denizen Growers is a New Zealand-based company operating out of Fiji. DHL Fiji yesterday celebrated its 40 years of operations in the country. Over 500 staff were also awarded during the celebration as they received $250 each for their hard work. Country manager Mark Comini says his staff have done a lot throughout the years.
We spoke about a quality business and how we have to lift quality and what does it create? It creates loyal customers and you heard today, we're doing pretty good.
Comini says DHL will continue to improve its services and work with the government to further enhance its network overseas. Well, not every day one gets to meet a young achiever who's already on the way to great things in the fashion industry. Our successful Fijian segment this week features Siddhant Maharaj, who's earned himself a name in the fashion industry at the age of 21. Akasita Tale has more on his success.
Successful Fijians is brought to you by the Fiji Development Bank, your partner in progress.
Lambasa-born Siddhant Maharaj wasn't going to let his strict upbringing and small circle of friends deter him from achieving big things in life. Sid, as he became known when he attended Wishikul Sanatan College, later took a 2-year medical course at FNU. Some of his extracurricular activities proved to be a solid basis for entry into the fashion industry after he graduated.
Throughout my primary school and high school life, I've been a prefect in all my forms. Everybody would say to me that you're wasting time, what are you doing? Even mom and dad would sometimes say, where would these come in handy? Like, why are you doing all this? You should be focusing more on studies. So actually, everybody saw it as a way that I'm, diverting my time into other stuff, but those were actually the stepping stones for me.
Sid did not stop here. He says staying behind 4 closed doors is not for him, so he took up psychology and human resources at USP to advance his people's skills. But he says fashion has always been his passion.
I've always wanted to do fashion designing actually. Fashion designing, I grew up watching Bollywood movies, Hollywood movies, watching Manish Malhotra and always hoping that one day I'll be better than him. So yes, the fashion industry, I've been growing up looking at that. So in high school, I mentioned to my teacher, one of my teachers, Ms. Ashnita Singh. So she really inspired me that I should actually go ahead and try out fashion designing and it might help me. So I still had it, but I didn't have the courage to go ahead.
Sid finally got his break in the fashion industry when he won Style Magazine's Best Streetwear of the Year award at the 2015 FBCTV's Project Chachmon Fashion and Design Awards. He says this opened the door of opportunity that he had feared opening all his life.
The best thing was that it was a free entry actually, so that really gave me a chance to actually show myself and do something. So I did this very secretively. My parents were not aware that I'm doing this. I was attached at CWM, I had classes full swing, but I managed to design and put 2 of my garments into the competition. I was actually the very last person to submit my garment.
He says it wasn't an easy journey trying to break into the industry, and it was a nervous start as he had no hope to win.
I didn't have enough cash to actually get a cab and drop off my garments at the FBC studio. So I actually walked all the way from the Fiji School of Medicine campus to here in the hot sun, and then it was raining. But I packed everything in a garbage bag actually to protect my uniforms. My collection.
Sid says he's never regretted his decision to follow the direction he had chosen because it's paying off now. He says getting his family to support his new career choice was difficult as his parents had a different path for him.
I was just a student, just a tertiary student, so I didn't have a source of income then. So I just had about $200 to work with. With that, I had to make 2 garments, have the stitching done, the final works, select the best fabric for myself. So I worked with that budget and actually made 2 garments out of it. So by the end, actually, I just basically had nothing left. But I put my everything into it, and I'm glad I did because it actually opened new doors of new opportunity for me.
Sid says he was pushed by Chachmon show host Andy Blake to enter a DHL Pacific uniform design competition last year. He entered the competition by submitting a list of designs that were hand-drawn. Sid says being one of the 3 finalists was one of his biggest thrills, but being chosen to design for the entire Pacific region where DHL operates was never a dream. Sid says that while this has come true, it is not the end. This is him taking baby steps into the fashion industry to take Fiji's name into the world.
After doing Chachmon, I've had a lot of customers actually approaching me. So I'm also designing a wedding outfit for a few clients. I'm doing Indian langas and Indian outfits and dresses for people out there. So I'm actually planning on also by the end of this year actually launching my own clothing line.
Sid is working towards designing for the youth of Fiji and garments that are suitable for the tropical climate and speak of the people of Fiji. Ako si Tatalei, FBC News.
Successful Fijians was brought to you by the Fiji Development Bank, your partner in progress.
Coming up in sports, Fiji through to Cup quarter-finals. And ill discipline, a concern for Warriors. All this and more after the break.
मैं हूँ रेहान खान कुरबो तालेबू के जैसे फेस्टिवल ए ग्रेड है कुरबो में उसी तरह मिर्ची एफएम नंबर 1 है कुरबो में
एलिन लटका में मिर्ची एफएम को लॉक कर दिया जाए मिर्ची एफएम इट्स हॉट
हम नकाशी से सामान है हमारा फेस्टिवल जैसे नंबर 1 है वैसे मिर्ची एफएम नंबर 1 है
माय नेम इज दिनेश हम नैंडी में काम करता है स्लीपिंग जायंट जिपलाइन में और मिर्ची एफएम इज हॉट आई लाइक इट मिर्ची एफएम
Welcome to FPC Sports. The Vodafone Fiji 7 side stamped its mark at the top of Pool A and the Vancouver Sevens with a hard-fought 24-19 win over Kenya. The national side outscored the Kenyans by 4 tries to 3, with Chasa Verimalua grabbing 2 tries.
Asaki Katanambao, this wonderful player, set up his friend and his teammates, Chasa Verimalua. They meet. A break for Jerry Tuwai. Lovely run by Emosi Mulivoro. Mulivoro, Kolinisau puts his hands through first, gets it clear to Big Jassa. That's 2 for Verimalua. At the moment, if Kenya win, both teams go through. But it looks like with Kidioni Talinga, I gotta have the last say.
Fiji and Samoa have progressed from Pool A for the Cup quarter-finals tomorrow. Jose Colinisao and his men will take on USA at 6:08 a.m. And in their opening match, Fiji got off to a flying start with a 38-5 win over neighbours Samoa. A sweet victory for Fiji after losing to the same opponent in Las Vegas last weekend.
Winston, as indeed they still are. And breaking through is Jasa Verimalua. Very good run here by Phoenix Hunapo Nafoa, but Verimalua. Oh, this is Fiji looking good now. Capitalising. Bursting through the middle is Mother Nadangi. And through goes Sebaloni Mother Nadangi.
Fiji then put in a masterclass performance with a 62-0 walloping of Portugal. Kitione Talinga and Masivesi Dakuang across the chalk 3 times in the 10 tryout.
Fiji, the pass goes back, going for the line and dotting it down is Dakuanga.
Away with it again, the footwork at the line from Tuai. Oh, come on! Oh, come on! You can't be serious, P.O. Tuai. Rawatha on the end of that. And guess what? Here comes Fiji's record-breaking points scored against Portugal on the series. Here comes 60. Here comes 60 for sure. What a way to wrap it up. Dakuanga has a hat-trick.
Meanwhile, Samoa A bounced back from its first round loss to the Fiji Warriors with a 50-0 thrashing of Tonga A yesterday. The men in blue put on a clinical display to score 7 unanswered tries, condemning the Tongans to their second straight defeat. And Samoa A will meet Junior Japan in the last round-robin match at 3:30 p.m. next Thursday, followed by the Fiji Warriors versus Tonga A clash at 6 p.m. The Telecom Fiji Warriors have secured a spot in the World Rugby Pacific Challenge final after a 44-14 win over Junior Japan at the ANZ Stadium in Suva last night. But there will be lots to learn from the second round encounter, with the hosts receiving a red card and 2 yellow cards. Chalendao Dakadaka has more.
Overcooked that time and Fiji.
The Fiji Warriors were quick off the starting blocks with some sublime handling skills, contributing to a 20-0 lead at halftime.
Still Naimasi, the pass in field is wonderful to Matayasi Odutamboa.
The team was reduced to 14 men when star fly half Serupepeli Mularika was the first player to be given the marching orders for this late tackle.
Wonderful, beautiful skills. Calling Serupepeli, oh, he's put his hand in the pocket and he sent Serupepeli Mularika into the sin bin.
Fiji received another yellow card to number 8 Johnny Dyer and a red card to prop Joeli Vitayaki, both for dangerous tackles.
Did well to take it through. Oh, another tip tackle that time. There it comes out and oh, that's a red card.
Lack of concentration and indiscipline crept in, and that's the thing that let us down. Even though we won against Japan, indiscipline let us down.
Fans came out in numbers to support the local side, and they were not disappointed as they were treated to some flashes of brilliant Fijian rugby.
Kunabula breaks away and Kunabula turns around and scores.
We'll go back to the drawing board, look at what we have to improve on, and from there we know what we can do against Tonga.
The Warriors will meet Tonga A next Thursday in the third round robin match before the final the following week.
Infield it goes and Tuilovala runs away and Tuilovala gets the...
Chalendao Dakadaka, FBC Sports.
A new winner was crowned at the Kundan Singh Chess Open in Suva today. Oscar Lawson won the elite players category, shrugging off the stiff challenge from top local players such as Manoj Kumar, Guru Arvind and Tayone Sikivo.
The competition is very, very good now, because plenty players played here, and this event is really good. Although the price is not so high, but still you can be challenged because of many people coming and many players already played today.
Over 40 players took part in the Kundan Singh Open today. The players will converge again next weekend for the Bridge Lal Open Championship. Early morning showers were experienced over most places today. A trough of low pressure remains slow moving over Tuvalu and extends southeastwards over Samoa and the southern Cooks. Meanwhile, a moist east to southeast wind flow prevails over most southwest Pacific Island countries. While temperatures hit above 30 degrees in all centres again today, Lambasa was the highest on 33, Nandi, Lotoka and Ba were on 32, while Suva and Savu recorded 31 degrees. As for tomorrow's forecast, showers are expected over most parts of the country. And for Tuesday, brief showers are expected and moderate to rough seas are expected as well. Recapping the main stories, Vodafone Fiji Sevens team qualifies for the Cup quarter-final of the Vancouver Sevens and will face USA. The National Disaster Management Office wants to complete as much rehabilitation as possible in the next 9 days. And Australian Foreign Minister Julia Bishop is in the country to see firsthand the devastation left by Tropical Cyclone Winston. For these stories and others, you can tune in daily to our sister radio station, Gold FM. On to our poll question. This week we ask, will Fiji bounce back from TC Winston? To answer, visit our FBC website. You can also send us newsworthy pictures and videos on email, citizens@fbc.com.fj, or share it with us via our Facebook page, FBC News. If you're on Twitter, follow and tweet us your news tips at FBC News, or simply hashtag FBC News. You've been watching FBC News. I'm Amrita Priyadarshini. Good night.
I'm Sarah, I'm from Tafwa, and I love listening to Today FM. Today FM rocks.
My name is Freddy, I'm from Gamiatong. I listen to Mario on the traffic jam every afternoon.
Hi, my name is Salah, I live in Asinu. Today FM rocks.
My name is Denasa and I'm from Lutoka and I love listening to Today FM.
My name is Wulamila, I work at Golden Point Resort. I love listening to Today FM. It rocks in Raki Raki.
I'm Mary from Mandera. I love listening to Today FM. Today FM rocks.
We love listening to Today FM. Today FM rocks.
Today's hit music on Today FM.